I really do think that some of the best fragrances you can buy right now are flankers. I think over the years they've been making drastic improvements to pre-existing fragrance DNAs, and it's been working really well. And I understand not everybody's excited to see a new Invictus release or a new Acqua di Gio release every year, but man, some of these have gotten really good. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely quite a few misses. There's a lot of flankers that just aren't good. They're not worth the time of day. They're not worth the money. But there are quite a few that are incredible and that are far better than what the original is. We're not even going to be scratching the surface today because I'm telling you some of my favorites, my all-time favorite fragrances are flankers, right? And I can only feature so many in one video without it getting overwhelming and the video being 45 minutes long. We're just going to go over a handful that came to my mind first when thinking about some of the best flankers on the market. Dior Homme Parfum was the very first one that popped into my mind. That's why it's right here. Really, kind of all of these are in order of what I thought of when I sat down and started planning this. So if that gives you a little bit of insight into kind of, you know, what goes on in my mind as far as the flankers that I like right now, well, there you go. But this was the first one, okay? It was the first one that I thought of. And really, when it comes down to, you know, the Dior Homme lineup, this is my favorite. Now, don't get me wrong, Dior Homme Intense is also a phenomenal scent, and it's going to be the more popular choice because it is a lot easier to wear, and people are going to like it more as far as an average percentage. There are going to be quite a few that don't really appreciate Dior Homme Parfum in the same way that I do, and others as well. But I think as far as a unique, powerful, just high-quality designer scent goes, this is just one of the best. So it has iris, has oud, leather, and some rose in here. And those notes there, especially the oud and the rose, combined is what gives this one that kind of next level, slight challenge about it that makes it harder to pull off for some people. And so as far as a blind buy is concerned, be careful with this one. It's not going to be blind buy safe for everybody, and especially at the price point that it comes in at, $170 to $180, that is a lot of money. So I urge you to proceed with caution. You can buy samples of this online, and for something in this price range, maybe it makes sense to do that. But this is one that I think every guy should at least try at some point. And I think this is probably the peak of the Dior Homme lineup. If they were to continue to put out flankers, aside from like the Dior Homme Sports, which those count, but I guess not fully either, I don't think they can really top this stuff. Absolutely incredible. The next notable release up next is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. You know, going all the way back to Tom Ford Noir, it's a really nice one, just the original. But then Noir Extreme, the eau de parfum, started to get pretty popular. And I kind of tried that one out pretty early on, just from like trying it in store. There was a bottle that you could spray on and test at the mall. So I tried it there, and it was getting hype, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty nice, but I didn't love it yet. Eventually, I ended up kind of getting myself into a full bottle, you know, a little while down the line, and then I appreciated it a bit more, and I rocked with the eau de parfum for quite a while. It always had just mediocre performance for me, and it was one that kind of got pushed out of my rotation, partly because of that, and partly because I was just exploring a lot of other things as well. The Noir Extreme Parfum was launched, and I was really excited to see this one. As you could tell, this bottle is a fingerprint magnet. I did my best to wipe it off, but man, you really need like a microfiber cloth and some polish or something to get that one cleaned up. But it's got coffee, cardamom, vanilla, and leather, following a similar footprint that the eau de parfum does, but with the addition of leather and suede. And those notes add a bit more substance, a bit more of a masculine kind of edge, and it kind of breaks up the sweet creaminess that the eau de parfum is known for, gives it a bit more of a rough texture, which I like. Because the original eau de parfum doesn't really smell like a men's scent necessarily. It's kind of sweet, gourmand, you know, vanillic. But this one, it just has a little bit of an extra push to move it in that direction. The performance is also significantly better. Like I'd mentioned, that was one of the issues that I was having with the eau de parfum. So for me, if I'm ever craving Tom Ford Noir Extreme, I'm going for the Parfum. I really kind of think in my circumstance, the Eau de Parfum is obsolete. I just don't have much of a need for it now that I have this one. So really well done, just improvement over the original. Next up, we have Invictus Victory Elixir. Man, this stuff is so much better than I thought it was going to be. You know, when it was launched and when I picked it up, I figured I was going to at least like the smell of it, but I wasn't for sure to what extent. But this is one that I've been kind of, at least over the winter time, cooler months, was kind of craving a little bit, or at least feeling an urge to really seek it out and wear it. It's got incense, tonka bean, vanilla, and cardamom. It's one of the best Invictus releases we've had, you know, excluding my personal favorites, Invictus Aqua, right? And especially 2016. 2018 was good too, but Invictus Aqua 2016, whether it be for nostalgic reasons or not, will always be my favorite Invictus flanker, right? But that was a while ago. After that, Invictus Victory Elixir is in a close second as far as my favorite and, to me, the best that they've made. Because they've had many more in between. They've had Invictus Intense, Invictus Legend, Invictus Platinum, Invictus Victory, which that one's also pretty good too. But I think, so far, this is the top dog. And I think I might even be missing a couple too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but those are kind of the main ones, and this is the one that I would pick every day. And of course, the original Invictus, which I don't really think there's much of a use for that one anymore anyway. So many better options within the line, so many better options just from other brands in general. This one isn't getting away from the bubblegummy sweetness or just the new style sweetness or anything like that. It still very much is maintaining that, but there's a little bit more of a refined composure to this one that some of the others didn't have. And it does move itself away from that original Invictus DNA quite a bit at this point, given they've gone down the line so much. So if you are scared of it smelling like Invictus, it's not going to. It's just kind of the modern style of a sweet men's fragrance, but it's a really well done kind of option for you. Next up, we have Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Le Parfum. It's got coconut, pineapple, iris, tonka bean. I like the original quite a bit. The original isn't all that fresh. Neither is this one, but this one takes it to the next level. The way I describe them is they're summer gourmands. So, you know, kind of like how I describe Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche. You know, it's kind of a lemony, bright summer scent, but there's still some sweetness, and from the lemon sweetness combination kind of has an edible smell to it. Not your usual style of a summer scent because it's not fresh and bright and citrusy and aquatic all the way through, but still it feels good for the summer. It feels appropriate for it given the kind of mood that it might give off. And it's the same with these, you know, the pineapple coconut combination. It gives off kind of a tropical vacation, just lounging on the beach type of feeling. And so while it might not be the popular choice to wear when it's 90 degrees and sunny outside, it would be pretty sweet for that. You know, any indoor activities or maybe a cooler summer day or just in some shade or something like that, it would be a better time to wear this one as far as not driving yourself crazy with how strong it's getting from the sun. Between the original and the Le Parfum, I like the Le Parfum better. I think especially for the price, you're not really paying a bunch extra for this one. You just get more in return for not a whole lot more. And we can't forget Paradise Garden. That one is amazing as well, but this one still is really good too. And Paradise Garden is also, to me, better than the original. Dolce & Gabbana, Light Blue Forever. So I, don't like to do this all the time, and you can actually get it in stock right now. They have 50 mLs in stock, so you can get it, but it's kind of no longer in production, so it's getting to the point where hard to get. However, I did want to exclude this one because I think this video should have some level of history to it. This is the only one in here that's discontinued. Everything else is in production. And trust me, I could have gone way further down the discontinued rabbit hole, right? There are so many flankers out there that were some of the best that are no longer being made. But I try not to do that. This is an exception though. And also there are clones of it. Fragrance World Feroce, Pour Homme, $35, $40, smells almost exactly like this. So you can get this DNA still, whether it be from a clone or a 50 ml bottle, whatever it is. But it is one of the best flankers out there in my opinion. They took this line and revived it because they weren't going in a very good direction with a lot of the other flankers. Everything after Light Blue Intense was crap, except for this one and Light Blue Italian Love. Also, Light Blue Summer Vibes isn't half bad either, but it can't even hold a candle to this and Light Blue Italian Love. It's all about the grapefruit, the violet leaf, the ozonic notes. It's very citrus forward from the grapefruit. I have to hammer that home because people don't really fully understand that until they get it and realize, yeah, it smells like grapefruit, actually. So, you know, that's not everybody's cup of tea. It might be a bit too realistic smelling, you know. And sometimes, depending on your skin chemistry and what you like, fragrances like this kind of get compared to smelling a bit like Beau, body odor, which on my skin I've never gotten. You know, I've seen that comment about like Bulgari Aqua Atlantique, maybe even Aquamarine, and I don't know, there's a few others as well that I've seen that reference to, right? So I know it's not just one person making it up, like it's something that people actually experience. Again, I can't speak to it personally, but it seems like some people's skin chemistry and what they like maybe doesn't react well with you know, certain aquatic, fresher scents. I don't know what it is. And so, yeah, I don't really understand that point, but maybe if that's something that happens with you, this might not be the safest blind buy. But for me, this is just everything that I was looking for at the time. I was wanting a unique, new summer scent, something that's different, something that's exciting, something that I haven't smelled before, and this was that. I was so over the moon excited when I tried this one for the first time. But then, you know, as luck would have it, things get discontinued, whatever. I'm not upset about it anymore because I can get a clone of it now that is almost dead on accurate. And so as long as they keep making that, I can sleep good at night. But before, I was kind of in a scramble to get some backup models because I don't want to be without this stuff. Just so refreshing, so uplifting, puts me in a good mood every time I smell it. Light blue forever, truly an amazing flanker. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. It's got tobacco, plum, and of course almond, right? That's kind of the main star of the show. And then a bit of leather in here too. So it's going to be the almond classic DNA, but then with a fruity, kind of smoky, rich take and a nice masculine leather undertone. Not a prominent note, the leather, but it's just there, very mild. I like the original, the Eau de Toilette, but this is worlds better. You know, the Eau de Parfum is also significantly better than the original, but this one, it's probably going to have to take the cake as my favorite. I mean, it's between this and the Eau de Parfum, it is so close. I mean, it's splitting hairs, and it might even depend on the day, but I would say most days the Extreme would take my pick. However, the new Parfum has entered the chat, and now that makes things even more challenging because I love that one as well. That Parfum, once I wear it more in the fall and winter coming up, that might kick the Eau de Parfum into third place. I can kind of see it going as Extreme, Parfum, Eau de Parfum in that order. And then everything else after is going to be a toss-up, probably Platine Privé up next. But that new Parfum is great. And just from the few wearings I've had here throughout summer, which isn't much and it's inside and just not what I would like, it's really started to win me over. So really, I mean, that Parfum could be in here as well. I think most of the flankers are better than the original. And again, I really like the original. There's nothing wrong with it. I've featured before. I think it's great. But they've made some drastic improvements with some of these. And last up for this video, like I said, we're keeping it short and sweet. We're not even beginning to dive into all of the other amazing flankers that are vastly improved over the originals. But I just wanted to keep it short and concise. Azzaro the Most Wanted, I'm sorry, Azzaro Wanted by Night. I guess Most Wanted was on my mind, which, you know, I'll go ahead and say it. All of the Azzaro Wanteds, aside from Tonic, are better than the original Wanted. For me, I don't really like the original. I think there are better options out there, hence all of the flankers, aside for Tonic. Tonic just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's supposed to be their fresh one of the line, but it doesn't really smell all that great. Wanted by Night, it's really nice. Has a cinnamon, tobacco, fruity note concoction over top of the existing Wanted DNA. So you do get some of that original Wanted in here. I'm okay with that considering all of these supplemental notes added in on top. Makes it warm and spicy, and it stays true to its name. Good job. It smells like a nighttime version of the original Wanted. And I don't mean that to be sarcastic either, like I'm being serious. It's a flanker that makes sense. It was appropriately named. The scent, smell, how it's constructed, it makes sense. It's just a warmer, spicy take on the original. The bottle looks nice, just a nice dark kind of amber color. Just well done across the board. That's it for me. Some of the best flankers that you can buy that are just vastly better than the original. I'll link them up all down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.